Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and this is video 2 about energy and reactions. And in this video we are going to discuss the energy changes in a chemical reaction. Energy changes. In the previous video we mentioned that in the energy diagram over here the energy is released. We focus on this part, which means that some of the reactions the energy is released, and other reactions the energy is not released, the energy is absorbed. So here's our focus in this video about these changes. How do we know that the energy is released? As you see here in this example about lighting the candle, how do we know that the energy is released? Because you feel the heat, and you feel also, and you see the light, and light and heat are forms of energy. So this means that this chemical change release energy. Like, how do we know from the diagrams? How do we know from the diagrams over here that the energy is released? As I mentioned in the previous video, we start with this level of energy for the reactants, and for the products, as you see here, the level of energy in this area, which means there is a decrease in energy. So the energy, we start with the energy in this level and becomes for the products in this level. So that's why we said that the energy is released, and this is the amount of energy released from this point or this level up to this level. So this is the amount of energy released. And this reaction is called exothermic reaction. Exo, which means goes out. Keep this in mind also. So this reaction is called exothermic reaction. The energy is released. Let's go for another example over here. And in this picture, as you see, that once you have an injured ankle or any kind of injuries, you are going to apply a cold pack. And you know that the cold pack is very important in this situation because it's going to reduce the swelling. And why we need it here? Because the heat energy is going to be absorbed by the back. So the back, this cold back, is going to absorb the energy or the heat energy from your ankle. So this is the second type of changes of reaction, which we call endothermic. So endo means here, endo means goes in, which means that the energy is going to be absorbed. How do we know from the energy diagrams over here? So as you see, the level of energy for the reactants in this area, while for the products becomes more. So there is increase in the level of energy for the products. So that's why we call this endothermic, and this is the amount of the energy absorbed over here from this up to this. So this is the amount of energy absorbed. Okay, so again we have exothermic reaction, which means that the energy is released. We have high level of energy for the reacts and the low level of energy for the products. While in the endothermic reactions, the energy is absorbed. How do we know that? From the diagrams, that the level of energy is low for the reactants and it's very high or higher in the products.